Joining me now is David Daoud, Senior Fellow at the Foundation for Defense of Democracies. David, thanks so much for joining me once again.
Pleasure, Brittany. Thank you for having me on.
Big news this week. The International Criminal Court issued arrest warrants for Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, former Defense Minister Gallant, and a high-ranking Hamas official, accusing the three of war crimes. What are your thoughts on what just happened?
Well, I tend to be more measured in my analysis, but on this, I'm going to come out and just say it's farcical. The official, the Hamas official, I mean, testament to that, right? The Hamas official that was named in the arrest warrants was Mohammed Deif. Mohammed Deif has been killed by the Israelis. That the Israelis have acknowledged killing him, and even certain Hamas officials have acknowledged that he died in interviews with Farcical also. So this attempt to create balance shows that there is no balance at all here. And Hamas welcomed this decision. And we can get into this further in the conversation, but the way the court went about this, from start to finish, from the so-called State of Palestine's accession to the Rome Statute, all the way to the issuance of the warrants, violates the court's own foundational statute, the Rome Statute.
So let's talk about this further. Why did Hamas welcome this?
Hamas said that this would constrain Israel's actions, right? Hamas said that this would this is the start of a process of delegitimizing the occupation, as they call it. And what they mean by the occupation is all of Israel. It's not just Israel's control over the West Bank or Gaza. And let's be frank, when you're dealing with the issuance of international arrest warrants, they're obviously going to impact publicly elected officials, openly, people who are out in the open, who don't have the anonymity of Hamas fighters in a way that they won't with, say, a Hamas official. Mohammed Deif, right? We have some idea of what he looked like, but he could pass through an airport. Assuming he's no longer alive, but when he was alive, he could have passed through an airport without being recognized. And the same goes for any of Hamas's spokespeople or fighters. These people hide behind anonymity, so the law can't be applied to them in the same way that it could be applied to Israel. What this does, constrains Israel's actions. It delegitimizes its ability to respond in self-defense to Hamas's depredations, and that balances the scales and the disparity of power between the two adversaries.
You called this farcical. President Biden really had some harsh words back in May when the ICC was seeking an arrest warrant for Netanyahu and other Israeli leaders. He said it was outrageous, and he added that there's, quote, no equivalence, none, between Israel and Hamas. Do you think that this is a false equivalency game?
I think it's an attempt to create a false pretense of balance when, again, you're not dealing with equally culpable actors. And again, if we go by the Rome Statute, and I think this needs to be emphasized, first, the ICC should not have jurisdiction here. Right? Israel is not a member of the Rome Statute, and Palestine does not require. You have to be a state to become a member of the Rome Statute. Palestine, whatever we think should happen between Israel and the Palestinians politically one day, there is no state of Palestine that fulfills the legal criteria of statehood, the four indicia of statehood, according to the Montevideo Convention, which are a definite territory, a definite population, an independent government, and the ability to enter into foreign relations with states. So how are you entering into a conflict where you don't have jurisdiction?